Bring the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock. They're powerful, alright. We cover them all on your favorite part. So many movies we can choose. Even when you win, you lose. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast. Be excellent to each other. Peace out and word to your mother. They're from the best decades. Movie magic that never fades. Lightsabers clash, phasers set to stun. Action packed from dusk till dawn. We have deep thoughts and questions three. Come share our love of the movies we see. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast.
And
I love that intro.
I know
God
you
bless
do.
it. I love that intro.
I love that. I think that's how we're gonna start every show. Is Pat's always gonna, as it fades down, I love that intro.
Last week when we recorded whenever the last one was, when Jeff heard it for the first time, that was so awesome.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah.
Jeff's like, I haven't been here in a while. What was that?
What is going on here?
This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did he say? I want that for my phone.
Yes, like, give me that so I can put it on my phone. Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Like, that's awesome.
Well, it was fun to have Jeff back for an episode. I know he's going to try to join for as many as he can this summer and moving forward. So it'll be good to have him back. And
It was totally good. It was fun casting pod with him. It was fun hearing his insights on the movies.
Yeah.
On the movie. Awesome.
Yeah. So you can hear Pat. You can hear me. You can't hear Bo yet, but he's here.
Yo.
If you were thinking it, Bo, if there was telepathy involved, I don't know when we get to that, when there's telepathic podcasting.
That would be kind of amazing.
That would be kind of cool. Or maybe not. Like
that's fair. I mean,
there are times where I feel like we
involved. I feel like
and there are times where I feel like we kind of stop ourselves. We're like, nope, shouldn't say that.
Agreed.
And when I say we, I mean me.
Oh, I think we all have our moments.
What was that part of The West Wing when President Bartlett had to address the nation on, I forget whatever it was, but I think it was, anyways, he was sitting there with the speech and he was just going through it and it seemed to him, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I can't say that. Oh, I am not saying that. And in my mind, Martin, it just looked like Martin Sheen was just having so much fun.
Yeah.
I think he had to.
Nope.
Do you remember that? And it was like the new sexual education standards or something like that.
That's what it was. Like, yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yep.
I can't say that. I am not saying that.
Yes. Well, we are here to talk about the movie Quiz Show from 1994. So very, very quickly, we spoil freely here, so just be warned if we mention a movie that you don't want to hear anything about, hit that little skippy button just a couple times maybe, and you'll get on past whatever it is we're going to say. If you haven't already, visit our website, 30andthewordpodcast.com. You can join the 30 Herd and join us over there on Patreon as well. The 30 Herd.
Is that new? Is that something we're trying?
No, we've said it before. Well, not like regularly, but we've said it before.
Okay.
Yeah. It just...
I trust you.
Few and far between, but...
Okay. I trust you. I just had not logged it in my memory bank. How about that?
That's astonishing that we've known each other as long as we've known each other and you say the words, you trust me. First of all, okay, Bo, blink twice if you're in trouble. Are you one of the pod people, Bo? Where have they taken you?
Well, pod people, podcaster. I feel like we're tripping that wire more regularly these days.
Invasion of the audio snatchers.
All I know is that in the house, the kids actually phrase it like this: Dad, are you casting pod tonight?
Oh.
And I'm like, I have achieved as a parent when my kids actually ask me with that way of asking.
You
I would agree.
You
I
make
think
yourself sound
you've-
like both a podcaster and a fisherman.
Yes.
That's right.
Or an angler, if you will.
Oof.
An angler.
All right. Our
Turn the
movie this
lights
time.
down low. It's time. Oh, sorry.
There
I'm
you go.
sorry, man. I
You're
got
just- you're
that
stuck
tune
on
in
the
my
theme song.
head. I am.
Yeah. Just wait till we put out a Super Bowl shuffle style music video for it.
Oh.
Oh, the world is not ready.
Oh, it's
Oh
not.
man.
It needs to get ready.
Oh man. Our first foray into video podcasting.
Is that something we release to the Patreon, folks?
Mhm.
Do we want them to continue to subscribe?
Well, that's also true.
I think we have to.
Pat, quick,
I'll
take some more
We have
movies.
to think big picture here.
I was just gonna say, John, you were talking about trying to afford something, and it was like, well, that's why there's paid. I just give me a few more movies that I'll hate on, and then
Yeah.
we'll be good.
Yeah. We're gonna special encore on Forrest Gump and Home Alone at the same time.
Oh, for crying out!
Featuring Pat's sister-in-law as our guest.
Yes.
Host.
Yes.
Does she want to come on the
If we
show?
could just- I think we should have her. She could be on the soundboard of. So, what's your problem with Forrest Gump? I
There you
just
go.
don't. That should be the lead-in.
Can you
So, what's your problem with Forrest Gump?
get a
Turn the
recording?
lights
If you
down
can,
low. It's
there you go. If you can get a recording of her saying it, I'll work it in somehow.
okay. I will first get her permission.
Okay.
Second of all, I will tell her the whole. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
Much like Commander Riker, we're all about audio consent here. So yes, make sure you have
Yeah,
permission.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our movie this time around is Quiz Show. It came out on the 14th of September, 1994. Rated PG-13, 2 hours, 13 minutes. Robert Redford is the director of this one. He directed Ordinary People and The Horse Whisperer. Writer for this one was Paul Atanasio, who did the screenplay. He also did Donnie Brasco and The Sum of All Fears. Producers were Michael Jacobs, Julian Cranen, Michael Nozick, and Robert Redford. Between them, I'm seeing a long list of really great stuff. The Big Chill, Civil Action, Separate but Equal, Motorcycle Diaries, A River Runs Through It, The Conspirator, all kinds of good stuff. Composer for this one, Mark Isham, who did A River Runs Through It and Crash. Cinematographer, Michael Bauhaus, who did Goodfellas and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Editor for this one was Stu Linder, who did Rain Man and The Firm. Production company Hollywood Pictures. Budget $31 million. Box office $24.8 million. So it did not make back its budget on this one. Flickmetrics gives it an 82%. Cinema Score gives it an A-. So it does get high scores from pretty much everybody. Ralph Fiennes plays Charles Van Doren. He was in Schindler's List and The English Patient. John Turturro is Herb Stempel. He was in Barton Fink and The Big Lebowski. Rob Morrow played Richard Goodwin. He was in Northern Exposure and The Bucket List. Paul Schofield died in 2008, played Mark Van Doren. He was in A Man for All Seasons and The Crucible. David Paymer was Dan Enright. He was on Mr. Saturday Night and Get Shorty. Hank Azaria was Albert Friedman. He was on The Simpsons and The Birdcage. Christopher McDonald was Jack Barry. He was in Happy Gilmore and Thelma and Louise. Martin Scorsese played Martin Rittenholm. He was the director of The Last Waltz and the director of Gangs of New York. Mira Sorvino played Sandra Goodwin. She was in Mighty Aphrodite and Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion. Johan Carlo played Toby Stempel. She was in I Shot Andy Warhol and Mississippi Masala. Elizabeth Wilson, who passed away in 2015, played Dorothy Van Doren. She was in The Graduate and 9 to 5. And Alan Rich played Robert Kittner. He was in Serpico and Amistad. So a few little trivia things here for us before we get going. Before filming began, Ralph Fiennes wanted to speak with Charles Van Doren so he could get his accent down for the role. He and some of the film staff folks drove to his rural Connecticut town and pretended to be lost drivers so that they could meet him, have a conversation, and kind of pick up on what his accent sounded like. Let's see. There is producers, Barry Levinson and Mark Johnson, had their names taken off the credits despite being instrumental in the film getting made. They felt that listing 11 producer credits for one film was far too many. I would probably agree. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it seems excessive.
Movie features at least 4 directors in small roles: Martin Scorsese, Griffin Dunn, Barry Levinson, Douglas McGrath, and then 2 of the actors, John Turturro and Ralph Fiennes, have also directed films, so a lot of directors in this one. Let's see. Martin Scorsese's character is on the phone trying to get Herb Stempel off the show and ends his call saying Queens isn't even New York. Ironically, Scorsese was born in Queens. And let's see. Well, some of what I wanted to mention was the actual historical background of this. Like the actual 21 was an American television show that aired on NBC from, I believe, 1956 to 1958. It was the central focus of these quiz show scandals of the 50s, even though there were other shows, I think, that were implicated as part of that, where it ended up getting revealed that the outcomes of a lot of these shows were often rigged by the producers to spike their ratings. The format of 21, which you see in the movie, is that the game involved two contestants who were asked questions worth varying points, and the goal was to reach a score of 21 points. Herb Stempel, the kind of the main character at the beginning of this, was a former contestant on 21. He was one of the central figures in exposing this whole scandal. He was instructed by the producers to deliberately lose to a more appealing contestant as it got towards the end there. That contestant was Charles Van Doren, a Columbia University instructor and a member of a prominent literary family. He was the new face of the show after Stempel, and Van Doren's streak of correct answers was one that helped bring those ratings up again, kind of boosting the show, boosting the ratings. And then ultimately, producers Dan Enright and Albert Friedman admitted to feeding answers to contestants and manipulating those outcomes to maintain interest in it. As it was in the movie, Stempel was instructed to answer incorrectly to a question about the Best Picture Oscar winner of 1955, where he deliberately gave the wrong answer on the waterfront. As a result of a lot of this, you had Congress implementing stricter regulations on TV programming to ensure that there was greater amounts of transparency and honesty in broadcasting. And the cultural impact was that this really kind of broke, I've seen the phrase end of innocence for TV, kind of broke the public's trust in television. And, you know, a lot of people were more skeptical and critical of what they saw on TV from this point forward. So that's all the trivia stuff I've got. Did you guys know any more about the historical aspect of this, like the actual real life quiz show scandals?
I did not.
Me either.
Okay. All right. So we've got the synopsis for this one, real quick synopsis. In a world of high stakes television, Charles Van Doren becomes a national hero on the quiz show 21. But when investigator Richard Goodwin uncovers a conspiracy, the truth behind the glamour unravels. With Herb Stempel and Mark Van Doren, the fight for integrity begins. This is the story of how the brightest stars fell under the spotlight of scandal.
Stand by, going to air.
Stand by, film.
5,
Stand by, music.
4,
Stand by, announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Geritol presents the exciting quiz program, 21.
Give me the name of the explorer who discovered Mozambique.
Vasco da Gama?
Correct for 10 points.
Stempel is an underdog. You know, people root for that.
Wasn't Herbie terrific?
Have you seen the ratings?
I'd like you to meet next week's challenger, Charles Van Doren.
Hello.
How much they pay instructors up at Columbia?
$86 a week.
Do you have any idea how much Bozo the Clown makes?
Gotta be James J. Braddock.
Correct, you have 21.
This guy a natural or what?
He's a natural.
$20,000.
What if we would ask you questions that you know?
Well, I think I'd really rather try to beat him honestly.
Just an idea.
Was that part of the test? Yes, I know his name. Halleck, General H.W. Halleck.
You have 21.
I'm constantly amazed at the facts these guys have at their fingertips. It's been 9 weeks now.
And you've won how much?
$93,000.
Sir, I smell something. That little box in your living room is plugged into something crooked.
You lose when I tell you to lose.
Now I'm supposed to take a dive?
You know, you got these crackpots coming out of the woodwork. You don't have a shred of concrete evidence.
Young man, I am the president of the National Broadcasting Company.
I have you.
And why are you the one that's sweating?
Let him out, boys.
Charles Van Doren hails from one of the most prominent intellectual families in this country.
Dick's on a witch hunt. He thinks 21 is rigged.
Is it?
You should see the letters I get. Kids are excited about learning.
You set a real example for all us boys to look up to.
Just sign the statement. Sign the statement, Herb. Sign the statement. Who cares if it's true, huh?
Pick. Dan.
If someone offered you all this money, would you do it?
No.
And I would.
Professor, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask for your answer.
All right, major moments for this one. We broke it down into 10 major moments, so you don't have to. In 1958, questions and answers for NBC's Quiz Show 21 are securely transported from a bank vault to the studio. The main attraction is reigning champion Herbie Stempel, who answers every question correctly, drawing high ratings and public interest. He's a bit of an everyman, and that is what the people love about him is, hey, if he can do it, I could do it. Concerned that Stempel's approval ratings are leveling off, the network and the show's sponsor, Geritol, decide to introduce new talent. So producers Dan Enright and Albert Friedman see some potential in Columbia University instructor Charles Van Doren, who auditions for a different quiz show, but they end up pulling him in for 21. Enright and Freeman offer Van Doren the same questions he answered correctly during his audition for 21. He initially refuses, because that doesn't seem right, and shock and awe, it's not right. But during the game, he faces a question from his audition. After a moment of indecision, he does answer it correctly, leading to Stempel deliberately losing the game on an easy question. Van Doren's winning streak makes him a national celebrity. Despite initial reluctance, he does succumb to some of the pressure and accepts answers from the producers, maintaining his winning streak and public admiration. And a couple of those scenes where he's trying to get back to the college to get to his classroom had very much the Dr. Jones vibe from like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and where he's being swamped by all of the young female co-eds as he's trying to get to his classroom or get to his office. After losing his prize money to a bookie and not receiving his promised television future, Stempel then threatens legal action against NBC. He approaches District Attorney Frank Hogan, who starts a grand jury investigation into the allegations. Congressional lawyer Richard Goodwin investigates rumors of rigged quiz shows, traveling to New York to interview contestants, and he suspects that 21 is fixed, but he does struggle to find credible witnesses until he gets to Stempel, and Stempel confesses to being fed answers. Another former contestant provides Goodwin with mailed answers he received before his appearance, corroborating the claims of rigging. Goodwin's evidence builds up, but he still faces challenges in really proving that the show was corrupt. At this point, Van Doren has succumbed to being just so guilt-ridden that he deliberately loses a game. In fact, Goodwin kind of catches a little smile as he answers that question incorrectly, and he can tell he did that one on purpose. NBC then offers him a lucrative contract for a special correspondent role, working with another journalist and a chimpanzee. Goodwin because who doesn't want to, given the option?
Yes.
Yeah. Goodwin convenes a House committee hearing presenting evidence of the quiz show's corruption. Stempel's testimony fails to convince the committee, and NBC executives deny knowledge of rigging. However, Van Doren ends up testifying, admitting his role in the deception, and results in his firing from NBC and impending resignation from Columbia University. I did want to point out, we'll talk again more about our opinions and everything on the movie here in just a minute, but I did enjoy this scene because everybody started in, Mr. Van Doren, I really want to congratulate you on your integrity here, and kudos to you for, just this impassioned speech that you gave, and I really want to commend you on this, and everybody's like falling all over themselves to pat him on the back. And I love the one guy that's like, no, I don't know why it took you this long to be honest. You're an idiot. I'm like, that's a great scene. And then everybody starts applauding. Like, because I'm watching that scene, and I'm like, are all these guys really just going to sit here and congratulate him for taking a long time to do the right thing? Okay. And then the one guy speaks up.
Not all those guys are. Oh, yep.
Right. He speaks up and says, oh, maybe I'm from a different part of New York, but no, you stink.
Yeah.
He's from that other part of New York.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not Queens. Queens isn't even New York. Goodwin realizes Enright and Friedman will protect the network and sponsors, but they do take full responsibility, vindicating NBC and Geritol. Disgusted, Goodwin watches the proceedings, reflecting on kind of he maybe kind of got a victory, but maybe not so much. Oddly enough, sometimes when you win,
you lose.
You lose.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
In nearly
There
every
it
movie.
is.
Nearly every movie. In fact, it might be in every movie. Sometimes you win, you lose. And then it was interesting the way the movie ended, where a chest burster came right out of Van Doren's chest, and I really wasn't expecting that. And like all your favorite major characters died.
Yeah. It's just gone.
It was weird. I mean,
Done.
a lot of for a drama that was really based a lot in reality. There was a lot of blood at the end of this movie.
Yes.
Like Sam Raimi levels of explosions.
Yes.
Yeah. The fire hydrant was turned on.
Yeah.
Van Doren waves at Goodwin as he leaves in a taxi, symbolizing the personal and public fallout of the scandal, and everybody's left with strained relationships, and it's just bad news all around. And as I said before, like a lot of the things I was reading on it, really, they tended to reuse the phrase "end of innocence" for TV and TV game shows and quiz shows. And the irony of all this is this movie came up for us to watch for the podcast around the same time that we have been watching, because we found on some of the different apps that you can get onto for free. Pluto TV, I think, was one of them. They have the entire section of game show channels. So you can just watch nonstop Jeopardy on one channel. You can watch nonstop Wheel of Fortune on another channel. So like if we're sitting down and if we're sitting down to just like eat a snack or eat a meal real quick, and we're going to sit and watch some TV while we're doing it, then we'll pop on the Jeopardy channel. And so we've been watching a lot of Jeopardy just in the last couple of weeks or so. And then it came time to watch this movie, and it was like, I don't know, it's just kind of a fun juxtaposition between I don't think Alex Trebek would give anybody any answers. So Alex would never do it.
No.
All right. Anything else plot-wise before we dig a little bit deeper here? I should let the people know I did not feed you the answers to this podcast ahead of time.
So I think you should have left them with the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mystery solved. It's time for Deep Thoughts.
And now, Deep Thoughts.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
I like it a lot. Wow. It's very deep. Thank you.
So, is this the first time you guys have seen this one? This actually was a first-time viewing for me. I had never seen this movie before, so I was a first-timer on this one. What about you guys?
All right.
I had seen it many moons ago. I remembered enjoying it, and I enjoyed it again this time. Again, probably an HBO. You know, we watched a lot of game shows growing up. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune were Family Feud were big in our house, so this would have been interesting just because of the subject matter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But probably an HBO find.
Yeah, me too. I happened upon it a number of years back, watched it, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of, one of the first things I noticed before we even watched it, I'm looking at the list of actors and the list of people in this movie. I'm like, there are a ton of big name people in this movie. Robert Redford's directing. There's a ton of big name people in this movie, and there's a ton of that guys.
Yeah.
Like this movie is there's an embarrassment of riches of that guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun too because it's also a bit of a period piece. I mean, you get the fun costuming, you get the cars, you get some of the different locations, but yeah, it's a fun. You get the fun accents that you don't quite have anymore. Some of those, what do they call them, the Atlantic accent?
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a New York, bit of an Atlantic accent. Some of that accent that was used in movies back in the day.
Yes,
So
I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was one of the things that was, to me, was kind of interesting about this was to get to see just kind of how some of these game shows, like this would seem, I don't know, as a game show, it seems so simple and simplistic compared to the crazy stuff we have now. Like I think back to most of the game shows you grew up with were like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and
Price is Right
and Supermarket Sweep and I don't know, stuff like that. But you had a lot of these. In fact, when you go watch some of the Family Feud, you go watch some of the old game shows on there. And I remember game shows like Card Shark. I used to love watching Card Shark when I was a kid. And I look at that now and I go, that game is so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have these crazy game shows now where the rules are kind of complicated. Like you almost need a master's degree to understand like the rules and the levels and all this other stuff. And some of the other stuff too is like how much things are just stretched out for time on TV.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the game shows now, especially something like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and Deal or No Deal. I remember half that game show was just the waiting and the tense music and nobody's actually answering any questions.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually doing anything. We're just looking at the camera. We're just waiting. We're just maybe the banker will call. Yeah.
Hey,
but yeah,
I know it can't be letter A, but it must be. But B is like that, like this. But C, do you want to phone a friend? No, I don't think I want to do that.
Right.
But just answer the bloody question.
Right.
Just do it. Yeah.
Which you got to stretch it out a bit. I mean, I know I've known a few people who have gone on actual game shows, and I've been to a couple of. I tried to get on Wheel of Fortune several years ago, like many years ago. And so it's kind of fun to see the behind the scenes stuff of like, okay, well, if you get up here, here's kind of what we're looking for. We want people who are personable. We want this. We want people who use the strategy of the game and things like that. And so even though there's a lot of, because of all these events, there's a lot of transparency. There's a lot of, you can't cheat people and you can't give people the answers. But at the same time, there is still a lot of, okay, look, if we're going to put you on TV, then you need to act like this. You need to talk like this. We can't just put a wet blanket on TV.
Right. Right. Was a one guy that did go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and just went right through it. Just like,
yes,
here's this question. Yes. Bam. This one there, dude, you want some time? Nope. Do you want to phone a friend? Nope. What do you want? Answer. Bam.
Yep.
Was that a thing? I mean, it was,
I just remember
like
we used to watch that show a lot, and I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, some guy just went through there and just cleaned their clocks.
I do feel like, and I don't know if I'm remembering this right or not, but back when it was still Regis Philbin that was doing the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I feel like, and I don't know if I'm getting this right or not, the first guy to ever win $1 million on the show, I feel like he had left either his phone a friend or something till the very, very end. And he was on the last question and he was like, yeah, I need to phone a friend. And he phones somebody in his family and they're like, okay, here's your, let him know what the question is. And he goes, oh, I don't really need your help answering the question. I just wanted to call and let you know I'm about to win $1 million.
I remember
I
that
remember
one.
that.
I was watching because Tammy's family was still real big into game shows, and we were watching. And I remember when that guy. I don't need to call you. I just want to let you know I'm about to win $1 million.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dang, dude. I'm really glad he didn't miss the question because that would have been bad.
That's like, guy's got ice running through his veins.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But this was all of the different actors that are in this movie. You've got a young Ralph Fiennes in this. John Turturro. I mean, he is just such an amazing actor. Like one of my favorite things that he's been in has been Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So and every time I see him, I always think of that. But just the type of characters that he plays in his other movies, he is just outstanding, and he's hilarious as Herb Stempel.
Yeah.
I mean, all the times that he's at home kind of arguing with his wife about stuff, and he's quizzing his son to like kind of get his son to be another maybe quiz show contestant someday. But and just kind of his whole demeanor. I love the way. I don't feel like there are some times where I do feel like he veers into some of the same kind of like nerdy social outcast type character, but it's every single time it's always entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I never have felt like I've watched something where he phoned in a performance.
No, I agree with that.
And it's fun to get to see these old sets, and fun to get to see kind of how they would have set up these old games. And I don't know, some of the ways they were asking the questions, I feel like modern game show contestants would just die. You know, to be asked a 4-part question. Okay, now you need to answer this entire 4-part question.
And I want to take the third part last.
I would like to take the third part last. Yeah. I feel like anytime I'm asked a question that I don't want to answer, maybe that'll just be my response.
You should just, yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to take the third part last. People will just look at you like, huh?
I was in a meeting recently in kind of a training type thing not too long ago, and somebody asked a question, and I don't think the presenter, and I'm not sure everybody in the room fully understood the question that was being asked, but I'm not sure the presenter really understood at all the question was being asked, and so the presenter started to just almost kind of ramble and tried to answer what they thought the question was, and it wasn't anywhere near that.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there going, oh, I would have just started with, can I take the third part last? And just confuse the heck out of everybody else in the room. Like, if you're going to confuse me by asking me a question that nobody understands, allow me to retort. But John Turturro is amazing in this. Ralph Fiennes is amazing in this. You know, it's just, there's no shortage of amazing actors that are in this movie.
No, and they all bring their A game.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then the producers too. David Paymer, Hank Azaria playing Dan Enright, Albert Friedman are hilarious. I mean, Hank Azaria, even though he's not playing a necessarily comic character in this, like he is in The Simpsons and Mad About You and The Birdcage and all these other movies, he is hilarious. And his whole demeanor is like, David Paymer playing Dan Enright is like the little bit more polished, like he's the main producer of this thing. And Hank will just like, he'll drop F-bombs and he'll be swearing left and right about all this. He's like, well, but that guy's an idiot. No, we can't say that some person's an idiot. You can't say. And he's like the slightly less polished, but maybe a little bit more honest of the two of them. And then,
it takes both to keep everybody happy, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then Christopher McDonald from Happy Gilmore is, I'm Jack Barry. I'm Jack Barry.
Jack Barry.
I'm Jack Barry.
Jack Barry.
Jack Barry. Yeah. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Rubber bubby baby bumper, whatever.
Yes. Yes.
That's usually where I got to.
Yeah.
What?
We had a conversation in our house about the name Toby. We were trying to figure out what the name Toby might be short for. But because Herb Stempel's wife was Toby Stempel. And I think what I was able to find is that actually Toby, a lot of times spelled with an I instead of a Y, can also be a woman's name. And
Interesting.
Does not necessarily have to be
Versatility.
short for anything. Yeah, doesn't have to be short for anything. If it's a man's name, it might be short for Tobias or something like that. But
sure.
But as a woman's name, I guess it can stand on its own. I haven't seen or known too many women named Toby, but
now you know they're out there.
Yeah. I was worried the dog was going to be really confused having me repeat his name over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He has not come
any
around.
more confused than he is normally, though.
No, not living in this house.
Well, I was just saying because he's a dog.
Well, there's that too. Yeah. What are some of the other thoughts about this one? What do you guys? So the both of you have seen it before. You know, do you feel like this is a movie that we've seen other movies based on true stories? Is it one that is still interesting today? I mean, have people kind of, with the length and breadth of different kinds of game shows now, are game shows less interesting than they used to be? Is this one that, if you were going to bring this up to somebody today, do you think this one still has appeal or relevance to a 2024 audience?
It might. It's hard for me to answer those questions. It might, or maybe might not. People might want more like action stunts and all that kind of thing. And it has nothing to do with this movie, but it's a lot of dialogue and character driven and all that. That being said, I don't know why someone wouldn't enjoy this movie like that. I'm curious what the stumbling block, why it didn't make its money back in its original run. I think the themes carry through to today. I think some years ago when they were investigating all the big tech companies for, information incorrect information being on their websites, and it was like, oh, do we regulate the internet now or do we not? And I found there was some crossovers between that and what was being presented in this film. So I think it very much definitely holds up and allows people to relate to it today.
John, you mentioned the loss of television's innocence. You mentioned people not trusting television anymore. I think right now we're in an interesting spot in the world where I feel like people don't trust television and media again. Mm-hmm. And so I think it appeals on that. And I think it appeals to some of the conspiracy theories and theorists that are out there. The only thing that might date it is the period that it's set in, but I think the themes are universal. I mean, there are still people that think the NFL is scripted. So I think presenting this story to people will give them further cause for their conspiracies. And I think people like that. So.
Right.
But it's not scripted?
God, I hope not. Because honest to God, if these are the scripts they're writing, I don't know.
But
like that's my whole defense for that is, really? If you were going to write this is what you would write?
But the Super Bowl logo had red in it, and then both of the teams were red teams. Bo.
That was my favorite one. Honest to God, that was my favorite one.
Uh-oh. I sensed a story coming on.
Oh, you didn't hear that one? Oh, no. Pat, there was a whole conspiracy theory about how the NFL picks the Super Bowl teams mid-year the day they release the logo for the Super Bowl because it has the team's colors in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my Lord.
That was people had gone back years and confirmed that in this year, this was the logo and these were the two teams. And then, but if you take a step back and realize that between red, blue, and purple, you've covered the whole league.
Right.
Come on.
You got to have a limited number of,
It was just, I just can't take it sometimes.
Because the Super Bowl, the logo for 56 was it red and yellow, or kind of orangey red and yellow, and you had the Bengals playing the LA Rams, right? And then Super Bowl 57, I'm looking at them right here. 57, you had kind of like a tealish green color mixed with a red color. You had the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the prediction was that because this year's 58? Super Bowl 58, the logo was red with purple. So the prediction was the San Francisco 49ers were going to play the Baltimore Ravens. And so there was this whole prediction theory going around to say, well, it depends on what the colors of the logo are, and that'll tell you which two teams are going to be. And whatever color is more prominent may be the winning team.
I see.
So you could, if you knew your color, if you knew the NFL color theory, then you could predict your winner.
Okay.
So I'm thinking from now on, they just do logos that have like colors that are not in use by any of the teams at all.
Right.
Which I don't know what colors those would be, but
puce and
hot
chartreuse.
Pink. Yes. A hot pink. Yeah. I don't think we have any hot pink teams right now.
No.
So yes, there's a whole conspiracy theory out there about the about the NFL logo, the Super Bowl logo. Do you guys? So I'll ask you this: do you guys watch game shows anymore? Like if there's a new game show that comes on, is that one that are you drawn to any game shows? Or you're like, I'm okay.
We're regular Jeopardy watchers.
Okay.
We'll watch the primetime Jeopardies, any of those. We'll do Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
We normally don't gravitate towards news shows. We have been watching the new $1,000 Pyramid.
Okay.
The one show that I would recommend if anyone hasn't tried it is the Rob Lowe hosted The Floor. It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was a little too played for drama. Take the pregnant pauses from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with the lighting effects and amp them up even more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The drama was a little much, but if you just kind of mentally get past that. The concept is pretty cool, and the way they do the questions is fun. Like, it was a really good game show, but I will say the drama was a little much.
Okay.
Yeah. That stuff can start to wear thin after a while.
It does.
Well, I guess there was I was looking it up real quick. I guess there was some controversy over that game show.
Huh.
Oh.
So this
wow.
the story was published on January 18th of this year, 2024. And the headline is, fans of the floor are raising eyebrows over the burgeoning game show's main attraction. Host Rob Lowe employs the randomizer to select contestants, but some skeptical viewers are arguing it does not look entirely random.
Oh, please.
So,
oh, gee.
I mean, no offense, but nothing is actually random. It is just numbers flowing through a jumbler. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's a game show, so I'm not spoiling anything, but the way it works is every person has a square on the board, but then if you beat the person next to you, you get their piece of the floor, hence the name of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at some point, yeah, it's not going to look very random because, well, this guy's got 10 pieces of floor, so how random can it look when there's this big L shape in the middle of the floor?
Right.
Right.
Plus, he does state every time the randomizer goes, it doesn't pick on anyone who's already played once.
Oh.
Okay.
So, I would say go jump in a lake on that one, but that's me.
Yeah.
Well, and I should clarify, any news article, once you get further down into the article and you find out who is accusing it of being not so random, anytime on the internet you see the phrase fans on Reddit, I'm going to say that's probably where we should have like stopped the journalistic bus and maybe like not written a story about this.
Yeah, but those fans on Reddit click.
Mm-hmm.
And click is cash.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. But yeah, I think just kind of some final thoughts on this one is I really enjoyed the story. I did not know a whole lot about this historical event. I knew a little bit, just like broad strokes of kind of what happened. So for as much as this is a fictional take on these kind of game shows, and it was a fun movie to watch for that purpose, to kind of find out more about what had happened with this and to kind of get a sense of this and to see a lot of these other actors that I really enjoy in other things. I mean, we were avid watchers of Northern Exposure, so to see the Goodwin character in this one, and my wife was like, so at what point in his career, like, where is this in terms of when he's doing Northern Exposure? And we figured out it was probably sometime around, I think there's 6 seasons of Northern Exposure, and this was probably sometime around season 3 or 4. So he would have already been on that show, for several years at the time of making this movie. And then Ralph Fiennes, so many other movies that I've seen him in, and this is probably one of the earlier ones compared with the other ones I've seen. But as I mentioned before, just as we listed off, John Turturro and all these other people, just an amazing amount of just really great actors in this movie. And like I said before, none of them, I don't feel like anybody's phoning in a role here. They're not phoning a friend to phone in their role.
No, they are not. They are certainly not.
All right. Anything else we want to say before we get into 3 questions?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. It's time for 3 questions.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
John Reed. Okay. This time around, we're going to do something a little bit different. We've got more than 3 questions this time because, gentlemen, we're doing a quiz show. So I have set up an I've set up an online buzzer for you. So if you check the chat in our Zoom window here, there is a link to a website called buzzin.live/play. And there is a little 6-digit code there. So if you can head over to that website and then drop in that 6-digit code and then make up a name for yourselves. Have fun with it. Or just put your own name in, whatever you want to do.
Oh, shoot. I put Pat.
That's fine. It's Pat. I'm on a quiz show.
Thank you.
Should I do a little test buzz here?
You could, yeah.
Is that going to throw off the score?
No. Do a little test buzz. I think you can either use the space bar. Oh, Pat test buzzed and we lost him. Oh, there's Bo buzzed in.
Okay, but once I'm buzzed, I can't buzz again. Is that how that works?
No, because I'd have to clear the buzzers.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I can see if the both of you hit it at the same time, I can see who actually hit it first.
Buzzin.live. I might have to play with this.
Yeah.
I could see some disturbing fun to be had here.
Oh, I know. With the free version, you can do up to 8 players. If you pay for it, you can get up to like 200 players.
Wow.
Yeah. Patrick, did we lose you? Did you hit the buzzer and it killed your whole thing?
I was going to say, man, you told me that. Pat, my understanding,
Pat buzzed too hard.
Buzzes 1 Bo. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna clear the buzzer. Pat, you want to test yours?
All right.
There we go. Pat buzzed.
Oh.
Okay. Now Bo buzzed in. All right. Then I can see which order you guys buzzed in. All right. Okay. Okay. Quit buzzing now.
Sorry. My finger slipped. Oh,
look at that. Look at that. John found the lock button.
The yellow card.
All right. So again, like I said, we're not doing 3 questions. We're doing 10 questions. These 10 questions are a mixture of 80s and 90s pop culture knowledge, as well as some general knowledge.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want it on the record that we're doing this late in the evening.
Yes.
Yeah, this is late. I can't even stop buzzing. As soon as this thing unlocks, I'm buzzing in. I'm just saying.
Don't worry. I tried to run my family through this, and they did okay. They did all right with it. So. All right. Okay. If I unlock, will you behave yourselves?
Nope.
Can't promise anything.
Okay. God, now I know how Alex Trebek feels. Felt.
Suck it, Trebek.
Trebek.
This is it's great. It's Celebrity 30 podcast.
This guy reads from a card.
This is rigged. He gave me the answers ahead of time. I'll take swords.
No.
Question. Question 1. Saber. No. All right. Question 1. Wait until I finish reading the entire question to buzz in. Yeah.
Is that a recommendation or a requirement?
No, it's a requirement. In fact, do I need to lock the thing so that you don't buzz in before I finish it? I'm going to lock it because I don't trust you.
And then you unlock who you want to win.
He doesn't trust us.
I don't trust you. This is going to turn. One of you is going to be like, yeah, I'm Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name. Yeah. All right. I will hit unlock as soon as I finish reading the question. Who were the first 3 presidents of the 20th century? And you don't have to give them in order. All right. I got Patrick.
Okay. I'm going to totally mess this up. Was it TR? Was it Theodore Roosevelt? I didn't hear. Did I get that one right or wrong?
I'm not telling you yet. You got to give me all 3.
Oh, I got to say. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to say Theodore Roosevelt. Look at the first Harrison and Wilson. Woodrow Wilson.
That is incorrect.
I'm off on that. That's incorrect. Yeah. Take it home, Bo.
Well, I think you're. It feels like you got to be right on Wilson. I think it might be Taft, Harding, and Wilson. I don't think that's right, but
I'll be kind to you all and let you. That is not correct. So
okay.
I'm gonna clear the buzzers again. I will tell you that Roosevelt and Taft are correct.
Oh.
See,
So
Wilson's too late.
Yeah, he's just too late then.
Wilson is too late.
Huh.
In fact, in order, there is one that comes before Roosevelt, and then there's Roosevelt and Taft.
I figured the first one was going to be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Turn of the century.
The first one, yes. The first one becomes president at the very end of the 1890s and rolls into the early
McKinley's
1900s.
too early, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one's it's either gonna be one that we're gonna roll our eyes at because we would never have gotten it, or worse, it's one we're gonna kick ourselves for.
Who was that guy that was real into the whole progressive populist movement? He was one of those 3-name guys. Was there a 3-name guy president that was like...
Well, William Henry Harrison, but...
Okay, that's what I already said.
For this one...
Oh, it wasn't Van Buren, was it?
No, you've already said the name.
Oh.
It was McKinley.
Really?
Oh, it was McKinley.
McKinley, Roosevelt, and Taft.
Oh.
I would have, if you had asked me when McKinley was president, I would have put him earlier in the 1800s.
Okay.
Huh.
Mm.
All right.
He got shot, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Nobody gets points for that one. I give you moral points for eventually making it there.
Interesting.
You get there.
Yeah, you got there. All right.
And it's funny because I would have thought Roosevelt was earlier also. So what do I know?
Oh,
yeah.
And I would have said Roosevelt E. Roosevelt was president. But
the water buffalo up there.
yeah, Roosevelt, what it is, what it shall be, what it was. Question number 2 out there is hot. And question number 2, which actress plays Ferris Bueller's sister in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Patrick.
Jennifer Grey?
Jennifer Grey is the correct answer.
Yes. Well done, Patrick.
That's Tammy's favorite movie. If I got it wrong, she'd
really
have one more reason to hit you over the head with a rolling pin.
Yeah. I wouldn't even get... The couch will become my permanent home.
There you go. All right. Question number 3. Which Shakespeare play is the line "to be or not to be" from? Audacious.
Hamlet.
It is Hamlet. You are correct, sir.
Excellent.
You've never experienced Shakespeare until you've experienced it in the original Klingon.
Question 4. Say that phrase in the original Klingon. No, I'm just kidding.
Why are you taking away the easy points here, guy?
Yeah, gee. Low-hanging fruit here. A lot of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. What kind of patak do you think I am? All right. What is the name of the woman that Gary and Wyatt create in Weird Science?
I have no idea.
Bo.
Jenna.
No.
Yeah.
You got a guess, Pat?
I don't. I don't.
Okay. Correct answer is Lisa.
Lisa. Let's see, that
Lisa,
makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. This will be more of a general knowledge question here. What is the capital of Canada?
Pat
Buchanan.
It's not Quebec, is it?
It is not Quebec, is it?
No.
Oh.
No, because wait a minute. I might. What is it, Bo?
Calgary?
Nope.
Darn.
Correct answer is Ottawa.
Ottawa. Like the cute little animal.
Yeah. Sure. Question number, I don't even know what question we're on anymore. Probably question 6. What is the name of the colorful egg-shaped keychain Japanese children's toy that left kids responsible for a digital pet? I got Bo first.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever have Tamagotchis?
I had a version of, I don't know if it was officially a Tamagotchi, but it was this weird little screen with a weird little dude on it.
Yeah. Right. Pat, did you ever have one?
I didn't. I want to say someone in the family did, though. Even my brother or sister had one.
My sister had one. I feel like at one point in time, I had, just for fun and nostalgia's sake, it was beyond the 90s. I think I had like an R2-D2 Tamagotchi.
Mm-hmm.
But that was after the 90s. That was not during the time.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 7. What popular 1992 reality TV show took you into the lives of 7 strangers who stopped being polite and started getting real? Bo.
The Real World.
That is The Real World. You are correct, sir. All right. Pat, you got to catch up here. It's Bo is winning 3-1.
I know. I got, at least I'm representing on the board.
You're representing. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 8. After the breakup of Nirvana in 1994, what band did Dave Grohl go on to create?
Yeah, I'm not forget that.
Foo Fighters.
It is the Foo Fighters. All right. Okay, Pat, I don't want to say that there's no chance for you to win at this point, but there's not really a chance for you to win.
No, I'm guessing not.
Numerically, you might be out of it, but you can still claim the moral victory.
I not if there's grunge band questions. I'm going to struggle.
Pat, take the Anakin approach. I mean, Bo, of course, has the high ground here, but
take the Anakin approach.
That doesn't mean you can't lunge at him with all you've got.
Okay.
Don't try it. All right. Question number, what are we on? Question number 9. What is the butler's name in the popular 1990s TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I got Bo first on that one.
Yeah.
G.
Jeeves.
It is not Jeeves.
No, G.
It is not G.
Oh. I don't know if I know his real name. They always just called him G. Was it Jeffrey?
It was Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, it was Jeffrey.
Good call.
All I can hear is Will Smith's voice calling him G all the time.
What up, G?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, final.
I guess I can hear the mom's voice now calling him Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, final
She
question.
Was cool.
Yeah. Final question. The 1981 poetry collection, A Light in the Attic, was written by who? Bo.
Shel Silverstein?
It is Shel Silverstein.
Yep.
Nicely done.
I have it somewhere in one of these bins down here.
We have it on the shelf upstairs in the library.
Yeah, those are classics.
Well done, gentlemen. Those are the 10 questions this time for 3 questions because
It was my understanding that there would be no math.
I got to use that so much at work today.
Did you? Nice.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was literally trying to do very simple math and I was botching it like you would not. Like, it was embarrassing. It was so bad.
1, 2, 4. 3, sir. 3.
3.
Yeah. I try to use that whenever I can. I find that a lot of people don't know that it's from Saturday Night Live and they don't know the origins of it, but it's fun. It amuses me.
Right. And sometimes that's really all you can do these days.
Right. Because when I'm at work, I have to amuse myself.
Wow, because
like
no one else is going to amuse you. So
no, that's also true. That is also true. All right. Well, thank you for the game show, gentlemen. That we can try that again sometime with some more. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea if we wanted to do a little game show special episode sometime where we had some movie trivia and.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I did think that could be like almost like a fun end of the year show where we do trivia from the movies we watched that year.
Oh yeah. Okay, that is
Could do
good.
that. Could do like a.
Sounds like a lot of work for you, but I'm in.
Bo, this is why God invented ChatGPT.
That is fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
No, I from time to time I do have all of our different like the notes and everything else collected in Google Docs, so I can pull some stuff.
That's true. You could actually you probably could feed an AI those docs and say,
"Oh, I totally could."
From the trivia sections, pull the best questions.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll make that a regular thing. We'll do a end of the year trivia show.
Oh yeah.
It'd be fun.
So, yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us for the quiz show here at the end of the episode as well. There were no food-related questions. I do apologize for that because typically
that's why we got so many of them wrong.
I know. It probably would have been better had I added in some more food stuff.
Oh well. Well.
That's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll excuse it this time.
That's okay.
How the cookie crumbles.
The question where the answer was Hamlet, that was the closest we got. We got ham.
We did.
Beggars can't be choosers. Ham. Yeah. I'm going to a present. Actually, Bo, I'm going to be at your work tomorrow for the first half of the day because you've got this Lake County Regional Office of Education Summit.
Oh, you're going to be here for that mess. Okay.
I'm going to be there. And the thing that excited most people when they were told that this is what we were going to is, well, the keynote speaker is going to be Bacon. And you should have seen the number of people in the room. Their heads shut up like meerkats. And it was like somebody said bacon, and half the people in the room were like, I like bacon. Like,
wow.
No, this will be a person. This will be a person speaking. Like, okay, a person made of bacon. I'm also fine with that. Like, yeah.
Oh, dude. So, my brother just posted a picture. He's in Vegas for Infocom.
Oh, yeah.
He posted a picture, an evening at the Sphere. And he's in the Sphere and they're projecting on the wall. That
sounds fun.
Yeah, I want to go to there.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you every single time.
John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Bo and Pat.
Yeah, what great movies these last couple of weeks. This has been really fun.
Kidding.
So we've got some fun stuff coming up over the course of the next several weeks or so. We have got, next week we are at Cobb. So we've done Angels in the Outfield. Quiz show was this week. Cobb is next week, which I think Jeff was going to join us back for that one. So hopefully we have Jeff back for that one. Hoop Dreams is coming up after that. And then Jeff, I think, was going to come back and join us for Maverick at the end of this month. If you are one of our Patreon members, if you're a paying member of the 30 Herd or 30 Nerds, I don't know if you can go either way, 30 Herd, 30 Nerds, whatever you want to be. Over on Patreon, we've got Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo from 1984. And the Patreon short, again, if I'm able to find it and watch it, I will do Shatter Dead from 1994. It's almost along the same lines as Damselus, Daughter of Helvis, because it's another shot-on-video movie. So it's a particular genre, a particular aesthetic, if you will, of the clips.
That's one way to put it.
It is, yeah. Of the clips I've seen online, it's of a quality. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah. So it should be fun. I love a good zombie movie. So I've seen two different things. I've seen some people post up, this is the movie that made me want to consider going to film school. And I've seen some people post up, this is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Well, that sounds about right.
Right. And I'm like, okay.
The complete two extremes by that.
I'm intrigued because I feel like I will probably watch this and be like, this thing is so terrible. I'm having a lot of fun.
Right. It has a high probability to be fun bad for sure.
I say to that, turn the lights down low. It's time.
It fits in with my title of Defender of the Filth, I think.
I would agree.
I will also mention very, very quickly, because this is just in the planning stages as of today, there may be a bit of a Drake Kendrick Lamar feud brewing between us and the Shirley podcast guys.
Oh, no. Because why?
Because, and this is completely manufactured, and I'm not really angry at them because those guys are awesome and we love them. However, it's my understanding that there would be no math, but then it's my understanding also that they are releasing or have just released an episode where they go back and ask, is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, worth rewatching? And I don't think they care for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, so I have a feeling it's going to be them saying, absolutely not worth a rewatch at all.
Wow.
What about all the Darth Maul lightsaber scenes?
I know. So there is another. We have a mutual friend. We have a mutual friend who has joined us a few times on the Superman podcast that I've done with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, John, do you like the Phantom Menace?" And I was like, "Does a bear relieve himself in the woods?" Yes. So you're talking to the guy that saw Phantom Menace 45 times in the theater the year it came out. So yeah, I understand its warts, but I also really, really enjoy it. So, so by way of manufacturing some sort of like fake feud with them, I think we're actually going to be, this other person and I think we're going to be recording an episode where we do nothing but praise the Phantom Menace for the entire time. Oh. So I don't know when that's going to happen. It's going to happen sometime soon. We'll let you know. It'll go out on our usual feed with the other episodes as like a special bonus thing. But because it is the 25th anniversary too of the Phantom Menace, so I figured that's a good time to have some fun, go back and rewatch that one. I basically told this other person, I'm like, look, we can do this whenever you want. I have seen that movie so much. I don't need a whole lot of lead time. I don't need advanced prep for this. Feel free. We can just drop in and start going just about any time. And I'm very happy to talk for a good hour and a half at least on the things I really enjoy about the Phantom Menace. And I can try out to see if my Jar Jar impression still works.
There you go.
I apologize in advance for that.
We were introduced to Padme Amidala.
Yeah. My daughter did not appreciate the other day when we were riding in the car and I was listening to a playlist of Michael Jackson songs.
Oh.
And I turned Smooth Criminal into a parody of Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, well,
we do that a lot. We try to take songs and like on the fly while we're riding in the car, she and I will try to turn them into parody songs.
Fun.
And it was just it was based on the line, "Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?"
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would land.
Yeah. You've been sabered by a smooth Tusken Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have fun. We have fun here.
I can see all that working.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I would assume that at some point, in the very, very near future, we will have a bonus episode on the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So good, fun stuff coming. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. This was great fun. Great movies.
It is. Everybody be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies, and we'll see you back here next time. Pat, how does that song start again?
Turn the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock. They're powerful, alright. We cover them all on your favorite part. So many movies we can choose. Even when you win, you lose. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast. Be excellent to each other. Peace out and word to your mother. They're from the best decades. Movie magic that never fades. Lightsabers clash, phasers set to stun. Action packed from dusk till dawn. We have deep thoughts and questions three. Come share our love of the movies we see. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast.
I'd like to take the third part last, if I may.